Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Points in the Paint. I am Sam Odiemi, and we are brought to you by For Frequency's Sake. All right, guys. Last time we touched base, we were talking about the NBA in-season tournament that kicks off this quarterfinals kicks off tonight. We'll start off talking about that. We'll look at the current NBA standings in the East and the West. We'll look at the rookies and see what rookies are doing well. And then we'll just go from there. We'll keep it rolling. So like I said, the NBA in-season tournament, the first year of this tournament, in-season tournament, kicks off tonight. We have the Kings and the Pelicans, and we have the Pacers and the Celtics. As we speak, the Celtics and Pacers are playing right now. Celtics are up three, started the second quarter. And then the second game tonight, the only other game tonight is New Orleans and Sacramento. So I'm guessing all the other teams are given the night off as a result of the tournament. But yeah, I actually did a bracket for this, and I have the Celtics winning it all. There's no Porzingis tonight for Boston, so hopefully they can pull out the win still versus the Pacers. But in my bracket, I think Boston's like really motivated to win this tournament. Mazzulla's got them fired up, even when they're playing in Chicago the other day in the tournament game. And there was that whole point spread thing or point margin that teams had to win by. They were hacking Drummond to send him to the free throw line in a regular season game. So if they're definitely all in there. So I think there's some other teams as well. The Kings are hungry and they're young. Pelicans, I actually have them coming out the West, but the Bucks and Knicks maybe, but we'll see. So yeah, and so tomorrow we have two more teams playing tomorrow. The Lakers and the Suns play, and the Bucks and the Knicks play. I'm not sure if there's any other games on tomorrow, but there probably won't be just due to this tournament. And yeah, I think I have the Lakers beating the Suns tomorrow, and then I have the. I actually think I have the Knicks upsetting the Bucks. And yeah, tomorrow, and we'll see. And I guess I had the Pelicans beating the Kings uh tonight, and then I have I think that cut. I mean the Pacers. I have the Celtics winning tonight too, so we'll see how that all shakes out. But yeah, this tournament's interesting. I mean, like I said, the winners don't get anything, gives the rookies an opportunity to shine. But it's kind of crazy how some teams are like 3-0 in all their tournament games and they look great, and then some of these other games they're just kind of going through the motions, going through repetition. So I do love the how the aspect gives young players an opportunity to shine. So I'm looking at a lot of these teams. You really get to see Tyrese Halliburton if you're the Pacers, and he's a young, promising player. All these other teams have established guys, but I mean, there's some rookies, on some teams. I think the Pelicans have Jordan Hawkins, and he's been, playing really good. He's a rookie, so this will give him an opportunity. Um, Sacramento might have a guy. Lakers have Max Christie, Cam Reddish. I mean, Cam Reddish has kind of been unproven, but now he's starting for this team, and he's starting for the Lakers, and he's contributing. So this gives him an opportunity too to kind of solidify, his stature. Because I mean, he's only with the Lakers on a 2-year deal, 2-year team friendly deal. So he could parlay that into a bigger contract. Just do consistency. So this is his time too. So it could also give some players who were kind of on the edge, like Cam Reddish was, a chance to prove themselves and solidify themselves. So I do love the aspect of that for the tournament. So it'll be good to follow along. I can't remember what day. I want to say it's like the 8th. It might be next week, but after all these teams play these next 2 days, I think the next round kicks off the following week. If I'm correct, I don't know the exact dates. I can look it up for you guys now. Yeah, the semifinals are actually December 7th. That's what's that, Friday? Uh, yeah, Friday. So, um, and then the championship is December 9th. So this should wrap up by the end of this week. So on my next show, I'll definitely acknowledge the winners and whatnot. But yeah, so nice little mid-season tournament. I like it. I do like it. If you're a competitor, you just love the competitive aspect of it. Just being winning. And but we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna jump gears now, guys, and we're gonna look at some of these team standings now. We start off at the East. Um, we got Boston, top of the top, followed by Orlando, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, New York, Indiana, Miami, Cleveland, Brooklyn, and Atlanta. Those are the 10 teams in the East, and those are honestly, I have no problem with that at all. I mean, and I think Charlotte, the Hornets are like 13 or something. I think they might climb to that bottom. They'll jump over Chicago and Toronto. When LaMelo Ball gets back, he's been out with the ankle injury, or he's actually going to be out for a while. But I think Charlotte's a little bit better than Chicago and Toronto, and then Washington and Detroit are just the bottom feeders in the East. But no surprise there. I guess you want to look at Orlando being um, the 2 seed at a 14-6. They lost one game, but they were like on a 9-game win streak before that. They won like nine straight. Yeah, they won 9 straight before this loss. But Orlando just has a deep roster. They could run at you with 10 deep. Really, a lot of young players there under the age of 25. A couple of veterans there like Gary Harris and Mo Wagner, but they got Mo Wagner's little brother, Franz Wagner, and he's really good. Paulo Banchero's really good. Markel Fultz, Cole Anthony. I know they have a rookie, Anthony Black. I haven't seen much of him, but he's a high draft pick. They're just Wendell Carter Jr., who's actually been out with an injury. Jalen Suggs, who comes in and gives them energy. They have a really deep team, and they'll probably make the playoffs this year. And we'll see. We'll see what they do, especially at the pace they're going now. I know they struggled a lot to close out games, and that's typical with the young team. So, maybe getting a veteran or two here at the deadline, but just learn how to close. Oh, they have Joe Ingles, and he's obviously a veteran. He's played with Utah for a lot of years. So yeah, so having some veteran presence in that locker room is good for that young team too. So I want to see how far they go. I remember, and I talked about this with the guys the other day, that 2009 playoff series between Orlando and Boston with Dwight and Petrus and the Celtics, Rondo, Pierce, Ray Allen, and KG went down, Glenn Davis. That was one of the best series between those. I like that little back and forth. I mean, they played again in 2010 too, and I think the Celtics won that year. And then the year before, Boston won. So I would love to see those two teams match up in the playoffs, just given the history. So that'd be something good to watch. Milwaukee, 14-6. They're kind of getting into form. Giannis and Dame probably getting more used to playing with each other, but their defense still, they still giving up a lot of points defensively. I think that we'll see how that rears its head as it gets down the road. Philadelphia, number 4. I think they're kind of coasting. Tyrese and Joel Embiid doing their thing. Joel, health-wise, looks good, playing good. So I think Philadelphia, they're obviously playing well. So we'll see. I think Joel Embiid was out a game or two or something. So yeah, with the hip. So we'll see what happens there. Knicks, Tom Thibodeau team, number 5. Typically where you'll find them at. Julius Randle's playing better. Jalen Brunson has been balling out. He's been balling out. That was a great pickup for the Knicks, was getting Jalen Brunson, getting a point guard, and big free agency signings, sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. But that's definitely panning out for the Knicks. And if you're Dallas, I mean, you could have had Brunson and Doncic, Luka Doncic, and not traded, all those players to get Kyrie, or maybe even traded those players to get somebody else or something. But I guess it all worked out in the end. Dallas, you do got Kyrie. He's still a good player. And then Jalen Brunson, he's with the Knicks. And it was crazy because at one time, Kyrie was heavily rumored to be going to the Knicks, and he's linked to the Knicks. He obviously went to Brooklyn, and then Jalen Brunson was drafted by Dallas and ended up in the Knicks. So it's kind of just crazy how that carousel works. Indiana, 6, 10-8. I know Tyrese Halliburton was hurt a couple games, so recent slide. Miami 11-9, they're fine. Yes, they still don't even have Tyler Hero. They should be getting him back here in a bit. Cleveland eighth seed. Uh, we'll see with this Cleveland team. I'm not sure. I know Garland's been in and out of the lineup. Donovan Mitchell's their balling now. Who's going to be their third option? It's going to be Mobley. Um, or Karis LeVert, but uh, they've kind of just hovered around 500. They're 7-3 in their last game, so they kind of started. Cleveland started slow in the season, so they're kind of getting into form. But I know Garland's missed games, and Garland's missed a couple games. I think Donovan Mitchell missed a game or two here, so just waiting on their continuity to come together. Brooklyn, number 9. Still no Ben Simmons. The back pain kind of sucked because I was rooting for Ben, and he's just a talented player, but injuries, man, injuries. And then Atlanta at number 10. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. I don't know if that's enough in Atlanta. They traded John Collins. They still got the other guy was Bogdanovich, but I don't know. I mean, they have the big band too, but I'm not sure. And Clint Capella, so you figured Atlanta could still be good, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I know they had Kevin Waiter a few years ago when he played, and he's with Sacramento now. And I think he was another good piece for them. Like him and Bogdanovich were shooters. I can't remember if it's Atlanta or what team that has where Joe Harris is on, but they can. I don't know. Maybe Atlanta needs to look to change their offense up a bit and not rely so much on Trey and Junte and whatnot. But that's just me. Oh, Joe Harris plays for the Pistons. Okay. Pistons are bad. They need to get rid of all those veterans or just put those veterans on championship teams and just let these young players just learn, man. Play Cade, play all these guys. I don't know what's going on with James Wiseman or Marvin Bagley. They were just not that good. But you got two young big men on the bench who just don't. I don't know. I don't get it. Toronto. I think Toronto and Chicago. They both need to kind of blow it up. Chicago definitely needs to trade Zach LaVine. That the energies. This is like the Philadelphia situation with James Harden. Like, where you just got to move the player because their energies, like the player knows they're going to get moved. The energy is just not there, and it's just a distraction for the other team. And then you move Caruso and move DeRozan to contenders and just acquire assets. You play Kobe and you play DeSumo. You see what Pat Williams can give you. You open the offense up for him more. Give him. I think he could still be a good 3-and-D guy. I think he's still got that in him. His development's been stunted, but I still think he's young enough where he could put it together. But again, when we talk about player development in Chicago, those two things like oil and water, because our player development staff for the Bulls is just terrible. Like I mean, until you improve that too, that's another thing. Like you gotta upgrade that department. Hornets, LaMelo Ball's out for a while with an ankle injury, and he's had ankle injuries his first few years in the league. So hopefully he's not a long-term thing. And then Washington and Detroit are just the bottom feeders of the East. Like Washington, I mean Kuzma and Jordan Poole. If you want to sell tickets, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. And I like their rookie Bilal Coulibaly. I could probably butcher his name. Tyus Jones, a veteran point guard, but I don't know if you're Washington. I don't know if you really. I don't know. Jordan Poole was just looked bad and they just look dysfunctional. Like everybody's just playing for themselves, But that's just me. And in Detroit, they're just young. I mean, they're going through their lumps. But yeah. All right, so now we're going to jump to the Western Conference. We can look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, are number 1 in the West. So I think they just jumped because when I had my note, oh no, they were 1 before. Minnesota, OKC, yeah, OKC's been climbing too. Denver's number 3, Sacramento's 4, Phoenix is 5, Mavericks are 6, Lakers are 7, Pelicans are 8, Clippers are 9 and 10. I can't remember who the play in being is. I think it's 7-9, or is it 7-10, 8-9? If it was 7-9, the Clippers and Lakers are playing the playing game. That'd be nice to see those two teams meet in the playoffs. Yeah, Kawhi versus LeBron, Russ revenge versus Lakers, Harden, Paul George. That'd be a nice little series. Even the playing game, that'd be an intense game. It'd be a nice series. But yeah, Minnesota, man, Minnesota's rolling. Yeah, you got to give them their flowers. They're doing their thing. OKC too, SGA is balling out. He's quickly entered that MVP conversation. He's definitely a top 10 player in this NBA right now. He can get anywhere he wants on the floor. He can score. He's good for 30 plus a night. And then they have all those shooters and they play defense there. Um, I want to see what they do in the playoffs. And the energy for the OKC playoff games is always through the roof, especially like when they, those first couple of years, they're going to show out. And they haven't been in the playoffs, I want to say, since before the bubble. But yeah, so it'll be good to see OKC in the playoffs, whoever they're playing. Because I remember those staying up late to watch those games, and just the crowd, and they wouldn't sit down until they made the first bucket. Back when all that they had all that energy, or Russ and KD. I mean, those guys brought the energy. Steven Adams. I mean, Thabo Sefolosha. Man, that was a long time ago. But yeah, Denver 3. I don't think Denver has Jamal Murray back yet. So once he comes back, I think Denver, they're fine. I think they can still make a run. I still think they're still well equipped to make a championship run. Maybe they acquire somebody at the deadline, a veteran or something. But they got a nice mix of young players like Braun and whatnot. So I think they don't count Denver out. Sacramento, they've been kind of up and down. They got punked by the Pelicans like a week ago, but then they beat the Warriors. So Phoenix, they haven't been healthy all year, but they're still above 500. So if they could just make it to the playoffs healthy, that's what I think's gonna happen. And like worst case scenarios, they make it to the playoffs healthy. You haven't played against them with their full roster. So I mean, granted, they're going to take some adjusting, but you're going to take some adjusting to playing against them when they have Beal and Booker and KD. I mean, because when that lineup gets it, they're going to be explosive offensively. You saw a little bit when they played Chicago. I think all of them played in that game. Bradley Beal played, and he looked really good there. So, yeah, watch out for Phoenix. They're kind of just coasting under the radar. Dallas started off kind of hot. They kind of cooled down. As I expected. Lakers. I said this the other day, and somebody said it was a bad take, but the Lakers aren't going to be good this year. They're only beating these bad teams, but they're not good. So even if the Lakers make the playoffs, I just think LeBron's going to get injured at some point in the season. AD's just too inconsistent. We got some good other pieces, Reeves, Reddish. They can step up and contribute, but they just need Ron does so much for them, like offensively, as far as playmaking and dictating. D'Lo can do that. I mean, D'Lo has shown a propensity for showing that, but can he elevate that part of his game, playmaking? Can he consistently give you like 20 plus points and like 10 assists? If he can, that makes the Lakers a dangerous team. But if you're still really relying on LeBron at this age, even if the Lakers do make the playoffs, I could see him running out of gas that late in the season. Like, I mean, and then the Pelicans are 8. I think they just got CJ McCollum back. And they got some guys banged up. Trey Murphy, I can't remember. I think Alvarado just came back. Now he missed the game. So I think they got to get healthy before we can really see what the Pelicans have to offer. And then the Clippers and the Rockets. I like the Rockets. I like Sengun, some of their other pieces too. So we got to come together in the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers should have traded for Harden. I don't think they'd be in this boat. And actually, the Warriors aren't even in the top 10. But the Warriors have been slumping. Draymond Green's back, but I think Andrew Wiggins is out. So, but that's the West, and then Utah and Portland. Portland's fighting though. Portland's 6-13. It's not terrible. 316 win percentage. They're competing. Shaden Sharp. They're missing Anthony Simons too. So, and then Utah, I like that Keontae George is a rookie. He's a nice young player for Utah. I mean, Walker Kessler as well. So, they just have a mix of veterans like those two, but then they also have Jordan Clarkson. They got John Collins now, and Colin Sexton. So the roster's kind of all over the place. So we'll see what Utah wants to do. And then they got Ochai Abaji, that's a second-year player starting. So they got some young pieces. So yeah, and then they got Larry Marketing too. So Jordan Clarkson's like the older one at 30 over 30, playing for them. I think they just re-signed him. Otherwise, I'd say he might get moved and he can go to a contender. I mean, he's dynamite offensively. And then the Spurs and Grizzlies are the bottom two teams in the West. The Grizzlies don't have Zion, and the Spurs are just young. Victor Wembanyama's putting up numbers, but he needs to learn how to impact winning, especially on the defensive end, because once he puts it together, he can shut down the paint to size. Or just dominate as far as being an alley-oop threat. I can say that for a minute. And just he can wreak havoc in the paint. I know he shoots a lot of jumpers now, but he's built his body up and used to that contact. But he's still skilled enough. He kind of do a little bit of both. Like you can catch oops and hit threes, like kind of like what Chet Holmgren is doing. Just got to find that balance. So I'll give him time. Chet Holmgren is balling for OKC too, but he was in the league last year and he was able to build his body up and strengthen it and adjust. Like he had a redshirt year in a sense because he was out injured. So and that's good for a young player because you can kind of see what goes on, what goes on behind the scene, the preparation work. You could how veterans take care of their bodies, and you quickly will learn the level of conditioning. Especially after not playing that whole year. So to miss a whole year playing basketball and then maintain your competitiveness and then come back the following year, like kudos to him for that. And that kind of leads it to my point. My next topic is talking about the NBA rookie rankings, and I got Chet number 1, got Victor Wembanyama number 2. Show some love to Jordan Hawkins from the Pelicans, Jaime Jaquez for the Heat, Asar Thompson for the Pistons, Brandon Miller for the Hornets, Keontae George for the Jazz, and Derek Lively the second for the Mavericks. Those rookies have been balling out. There's other rookies that are playing good. But those are the ones, if they're just, I guess, my rookie rankings. If I had to give Rookie of the Year awards now, I probably would give it to Chet because he's putting up good numbers for a top team, the number 2 team in the West. So, I look at the numbers, obviously, and then also, are you impacting winning? And Chet's doing both. So, you would obviously give it to him over Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama's putting up numbers and he's going to be a generational talent, but Chet's having more of an impact now, especially for a team. And I think Chet's numbers might even be better than Wembanyama's at the point, but I'd have to check. But I saw Chet do a move the other day on Anthony Davis, dribbling, spun, and kicked his leg back, fade away. And like a big man's not supposed to be able to do that, and he did it. And it's just, the game's changed so much. His numbers, Chet's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 53%. That's good for, a rookie, They have him at power forward. They put these big men at at power forward they can shoot. These guys are like 7'3", 7'4". Oh, he's a power forward because he can shoot threes. You know, he's a big, he's a center, whatever. But he's only a $195. So Chet's gonna, yeah, that's a wiry frame, but that wingspan 7'1", yeah, he can alter a lot of shots. I think Wembanyama's under 200 pounds as well, so um, they'll just continue to build on their frame and be fine. But yeah, I give Holmgren the top rookie honors. You know, he's definitely been balling out. Um, but yeah, that's all I really had for tonight. Um, so when we next tune in, we can touch on the NBA in-season tournament. We can look at these teams are rolling. We'll see maybe some moves have been made. I'm hoping some trades have been made. Personal reasons. Give you a quick update. The score of the Boston Pacers game is 55-48. Boston at halftime. Again, I do have Boston winning the in-season tournament. So if that does happen, don't forget where you heard it first. Just want to give you guys that knowledge, that wisdom when it comes to NBA basketball. But yeah, Jason Tatum's got 12 points. Derek White's got 11. Drew Holiday's got 7. And Sam Hauser's got 9. Don't see Jaylen Brown on there. Is he out too? Or is he just... Yeah, 11 minutes. Oh, he's got foul trouble. Well, he's got 12 points. Huh. Yeah, Jaylen Brown, because he usually gets going early on the game. Looks like Boston getting their distribution from everybody. Pacers kind of are as well. Halliburton got 7 points, but 3 for 8 shooting. Not shooting the greatest. I figured Miles Turner would have a big game because there's no Porzingis, but he's only got 8 points to half. So finished right around his average of 16 points. But yeah, nothing really from there. I looked at Buddy Hield's numbers earlier this year, and I swear he's only averaging like 12 points. I was like, I remember he was averaging like 20 points, like not even a year or two ago or something. So his drop off has been. Look at it now. Yeah, last year he was 16, and he was 18 the year before. I know the Pacers have kind of prioritized Halliburton, and Halliburton has the ball in his hands more, but yeah, it looks like his shot attempts have gone down too. This year he's only taking 11 shots, last year 13. Okay, he's not taking that much shots, so but yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Buddy Hield get moved. I don't know where, but I like his game. He's got a smooth stroke, so yeah, we'll see what happens there. But again, another edition of Points in the Paint. I'm Sam Odiemi. Feel free to tweet me. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Kind of got to it. At my handle below, at Mark0220. You can find me on X, whatever, or Twitter, whatever you refer to it. And yeah, I'm here to talk all things NBA basketball. And it's just Points in the Paint. You can catch me on my next show. But take care and have a good week. I'm out.